All right. So I'm going to talk about the setup on GJ today, March 3rd. This is Tuesday. So on the 4 hour over here, a higher time frame is always like the first thing that I look at. We had tapped into this area, which anybody that does supply and demand knows there's a lot of price orders here and just huge rejection off of there. So you know that the first time that we come and hit this, that we're going to reject off of it. So the first time that we came and went into this area was around 8:30. And you can see that we had trouble breaking that area and then how to pull back at the end of the hour. So now, if you go to the 1 hour, you can see right where we went into this. And looking left, that's exactly right where we hit. So we hit this and then reject off of it for the hour. And in my experience, this is why higher time frame analysis is super important, is when we reject off of a zone that's as strong as this one was over here, you can't count on these minor zones. Like over here, this is the 15-minute chart. You can't count on these minor zones to stop this once it rejects. So as you can see, this thing completely, this thing, once it rejected, completely went through all of this zone right here. And normally, if you're just looking at the smaller time frame, like this zone matching up with this 14 EMA over here would look really good for buys, especially when, yeah, it would look really good for buys around like this candle or so. It's okay. This is actually the 5-minute, not the 15-minute. My bad. 15-minute looks like this, so you can see that it's still that strong zone. We had that liquidity wick right there and kept going up and then formed this doji right here, which around the end of an hour and at a major zone like that is always definitely something that I would look to stay out of. And then as soon as we go below that bottom wick right there, you know that we're falling for a good amount. And since this is GJ, you know that it's going to be for a lot of pips. And so it looks like we fell about to that support point right there. So you can kind of see that range that we're in. So yeah, don't count on these minor zones when you reject a major zone. This does give us what looks like a wick over here to fill too. But something that you have to keep in mind when you're trying to fill that wick is that it's not going to happen right away. So when we come down here and then we break through this minor zone, you have to wait for those confirms to say that we're going back up and we're going to fill that, because the market moves in waves. So we're not going to reject off of it right here and then the next candle immediately go up, because at this point our momentum was definitely down. So you can see that we rejected off of this 50 EMA, tried to come back up, and then continued back down again. But if you look left over here at this support point, this was where we had tapped and then rejected and have now filled this wick over here. So that's been filled because we're still in an uptrend, and you can see these nice crosses that happen. You can see how we're in an uptrend, and then you can see that little tap on that support area and using the EMAs as confluence as well to fill that. But I wouldn't have looked for buys up in this area right here for this first retest of this support area just because it's that first rejection off of a major resistance, and you know that we're going to have a pullback from there. So you see that we have a large pullback and then a really strong rally afterwards. So this is kind of a good lesson as to why time frame analysis is super important, and also knowing that these minor support zones are going to get broken when major rejection happens. So you can see it's still going up now. Let's see. And this was a trade that I took on UJ. You can kind of see that we had a wick to fill here. And then if you look on the lower time frame, this was the wick that we had. So this, and this. So there's our wick range that we have. It's good 16 pips. And then once we reject off of this zone, we go up to fill that. And so the trade that I took, I made my entry around, I think, around here, and then aim for around 12 pips because that's my trading plan. That's just normally what I plan for. So I saw that we had rejected off of there, and then okay, so yeah, it looks like I probably hit my 12 pips. So you can see, yeah, this trade that I took. I haven't traded UJ as much lately, but yeah, around 10 to 12 pips I got from that wick fill right there. And that basically just came because we were in an uptrend. I saw that we had a wick range, and then we rejected off support. So you buy support in an uptrend. That one was really as straightforward as that. This one GJ had a little bit more complexity to this setup, but I didn't end up trading it because that was such a strong resistance zone. And then since I had already won my UJ trade, I'm just now looking back at this, but you can see how big of a rally we had with GJ after that pullback and rejection.